Hello, Dawn here again with Art Spark Wednesday, home of I Don't Have a Plan. And I already taped the spine and gessoed my pages, and for some reason, very oddly, doesn't have an inclusion on this page, so I must have forgot to put one in. Ooh. Oh, that's so sticky. Does anyone know a cure for this? I heard turtle wax makes it not stick, but I don't know. I had another page, where is it, where it was ripping my masking tape off, like right here. I managed to stick it back on, but I don't want that to happen. See, it gets where the paint sticks. I did hear sprinkling powder in there, which I have done, but it's not, I don't know, not permanent. See how it does that? I don't want it to rip. I just thought it was very strange that this page did not have the little flap of paper in there. Neither will this one. We'll see how I like it, because I was considering making my next one without that in it, so I guess I'll see. I'm mushing some of these pages over so it sits more flat. Okay. Which works, except that it doesn't want to stay open. So, there we go. But, since there's no inclusion to stick this tag onto, I have this little paper bag that I've had forever, and I thought maybe I could glue that down and maybe tuck the tag in it, or maybe I just won't use it at all, but I took it out. Then, I was at Goodwill the other day looking for anything that I could use in my crafts, and I came across this game called Pit, and it's got pictures of like oats and soybeans and oranges and stuff like that, and I just like the graphics on the cards, so I have those out to maybe either paint something that looks like that, or to punch it out or stick it on there somehow, or I don't really know. And I also have my drywall tape that I got at Lowe's. This is the tape that I use the backing off of all the time to make the little circles on my pages. But I'm thinking if I did it today that I would just stick the tape down onto the background for some texture. I also got these in the mail with, you know, some sort of junk mail. I'm not really sure, credit card offer or something like that. But maybe I could put these onto here. They're just some random stamps. Puppies and flags and state flags and kittens and flowers, and I have no idea what it was for. It's First Financial Bank. I don't know, maybe you can get these things put on a credit card. I have no idea. But I thought maybe I could stick those on here just as texture or color. Tear them apart, not tear them apart, I don't really know. Maybe have holes where there's some that show and some that don't. But then what? So, I think I'm going to start with some tape, because it's my fave. I'm just going to unroll a little bit of it here, and then just tear it. I'm just going to try covering up the whole page with it, with going different directions and stuff. So there the tape is on, and the best part of it is that, let me get this back on here, the best part is that look at all this good stuff to use for making holes. So I just tear off all that and save it, because it works great, so there's no waste. Then I just put a piece of tape to hold it closed and hang it back up on my pegboard. Ta-da! Get that out of the way a little bit. I think I'm going to go back over this with some more gesso. Just a little bit to seal it in there. Okay, everything looks coated and happy. I'll dry this and be back. Okay, everything seems to be mostly dry, except for maybe right in there, but we're going to just leave that be for now. I'm thinking I'm going to spray through a stencil first with some black, if I can find them. Here we go. Which one? This is the times I wish that my paper was still on my table. So when you spray, it's protected. But the table's kind of not perfect anyway, so let me grab one more. Try to be a little bit safe. I don't know if this makes a bit of difference. Probably spray over it anyways. Let's see. Okay. Starting to lay a little bit flatter. That's nice. I think this one. This one's my favorite one. For this size book, I think this one is the most appropriate, but maybe we'll just throw caution to the wind and use the big one. Grab my spray, which is hiding. Where are you? There you are. Alright. I don't know what the ratio for paint to water is on these, but usually I get too much water and then the spray just goes. So let's hope we get something good. And maybe put some of these over here so it'll make them look cooler. I just don't want overspray. Oh, work. That's neat. And then, with the paint that's on it, I can hopefully use it like a stamp. Smush it on. Waste not, want not. Ooh, that looks cool. Okay. I like that. Let's try it with a little bit of smaller letters. Maybe. Or just miss entirely. Alright, let me just tell you, I have 2 bottles of Golden Paint, which I love, and I watched Donna Downey use them, and I was like, they're so pretty. So I went to the store to buy them, and I almost had a heart attack at how expensive they were. But I had a coupon, and I got them green gold and quinacridone magenta, and I hoard them. I don't use them. I hardly use them. I leave them sitting there and look, they're dusty. They're dusty. That's just sad. So I'm gonna use some today, and because honestly, what's the point in buying it if you just waste or just save it because you're afraid you're gonna waste it? No. So I'm just gonna drip some on here, and that's probably a lot, and inside I'm like, no! It's gonna be great. Maybe I should shake it. Seeing as it's dusty and hasn't been used in quite a while. Push some around. And this paint, while it is spendy, it is really, really good quality. You need so little of it. You cover so much more than you can with these little craft paints. But I love these as well because almost with these I'm afraid to use the supplies because they did cost me more. And these are like $1, so I don't feel as inhibited to waste this than this. And I gotta quit using that word waste, because you gotta know your supply. Why buy it if you don't use it, is all I'm saying. So that's all I have to say about that. So now I'm going to spray these, and hopefully they'll go, and yep, and they will hopefully spread around and make pretty. Let's see. It's just not very flat. And some of this black paint's still wet, so this should be very interesting. Alright, water bottle. Hold on, I gotta go back. I have wet hands. Okay. Now hopefully it will work better. Yes. Okay. Are we in frame here? Yes, we are. Okay, so there's a little more, couple of beads, and I'm going to zoom in so you can see better, and then I'm going to pray that I remember to zoom out when I'm done. Okay. Oh, my throat just made the weirdest noise. So since these are the ones that are kind of in frame right now, those are the ones that I'll spray. See how they, ooh, works very well. Ooh, and the black was wet right there. You see that? That's cool. So that's what I want it to do, is just, oh, encroaching to the edge. No. Don't do that. So once I have water at every paint blob, I want to turn it every which way and let it drip. Oh, I love it already. Oh, that's very pretty. I even like the brown it makes. Okay, zooming back out since I remembered. I think that should be good. Let's see. I can only tell when my book is flat. Oh, the book should be in. Okay, a little bit more out. I think that should be good. That might be too far, but we'll go with that for now. I just looked back at it and it's pretty. I love that. Love it. Okay, and I think somebody, no, don't go in the middle. Go that way. Very neat. Very neat indeed. Okay, this one go that way as well. And some down here. Love the drippies. Drip, 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 drip. Oh, yes. Oh, oh, oh. I forgot one. There's one right there. Can you see that? And that's exactly where it needs some. So, Let's get some water on that puppy. And drip. Ooh la la. Look at that. It's just beautiful, beautiful paint. Now what? I think that... I have to say, when those two colors mix, they make this very pretty orangey brown. You like it? I like it a lot. See if I can get it to drip all the way to the top. Sorry, that was very loud. Sometimes you have to beat the paint into submission though. So it's the only thing that'll make it go. Or, you know, you can spray more water on it too. That's just lovely. I love it. I have an overwhelming desire to smush some of this paint around with my finger. I'm trying to resist. I lose. Couldn't resist. I think it just looks more... Got to be careful because I don't want all of those colors to blend together because they'll make mud. Which a little mud is okay, but all over mud is not okay. At least not today. So I'm just going to put some of this in over here. And screen. There we go. We got some movement. That's good. Let's try it over here. Ooh, ah. I think I want some right there as well. Whoa, nope. Whoa, let's drop it. Crazy water bottle falling everywhere. Alright, I'm going to have to dry this and then I'll come right back. I just had to share with you to see if my page was dry, and I do this every single time after I dry it. I go to see. And then I look at my hands, which are already filled with paint. So how are you supposed to know if it's dry by any paint coming off if your hands are already coated in paint? This one here, sometimes what you're most afraid of doing is the very thing that will set you free. And I was just talking about that with my husband the other day, and I think that's the one I'm going to go with because I've been noticing and praying about having a spirit of fear in a lot of things in my life that I want to not have. So I pray about it, and I told God, or I asked Him, I said, you know, Lord, please lift this spirit of fear, worry, doubt, anxiety, you know, all these things. Just give me peace and joy. And I said, and sometimes, you know, with that spirit of fear and lifting all of that, you know, show me when I need to let go of that fear. When it starts to take a hold, beat me over the head with it and make it stop. So then I went to church the following week, and my pastor came up to me and asked me if I would go into the front of the church and sing. And I was like, no, it's just not one of my gifts. You know, I'm going to stay in my pew and I'll sing my heart out in my pew. But to stand up in front of people in any way was terrifying to me. And the next week, he asked me again, and I said no. And then I think it was the week after that, I came into church, and, you know, one of our greeters, Bill, he asked if I was going to go up to the front today and sing, and I said, oh, no, 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 no. And then I was talking to one of my other friends in church, and Carolyn said, well, are you going to go up in front and sing? And I just said, no, I'm just so scared and standing in front of people. And she's like, oh, come on, it's a piece of cake. You could totally do it. And I just kind of laughed it off a little bit nervously. And then Pastor came through, and Carolyn told him that she was trying to get me to go up and sing. And he was like, well, funny you should say that, because I was going to ask you the same thing. And I'm like, you're funny, you're hilarious, like, just trying not to do it. So then finally, Donna came up to me, another, she's a family member of mine, and a friend as well, and fellow churchgoer. So she came up to me, and she was like, so are you going to go up to the front today? And I looked at her, and I said, yeah, yes I will, I am, I'll go. So, like I said, sometimes you have to be hit over the head with it. And I felt like God kept trying to do that, and I kept saying no. And he kept saying, but this is your spirit of fear that you're trying to let go of, and you're trying to get rid of this spirit of fear. And the only way to do that is that when fear hits you, to do it, to get past it. And I went up and I sang. And at first, I was not in my comfort zone, and, I was nervous, and I was fidgety, and I would stand from foot to foot. And then the music comes on, and all of that kind of goes away. I mean, I was still a little bit nervous to be up there, and so, but I did it, and it was great. And then the next week, my pastor asked me if I would go up and sing again. And I said, if you're asking, I will. He said, well, I'm asking, and I said, then I'm going. So I did it, and it was easier, and I got my daughter to come up with me. She's 12, and it was great. And then last week, Pastor came up to me, and the very dear woman that sits in front of me, her name is Dee, and she is amazing. And he said, I need you and you, and he pointed to her and I, and he said, I need you and you to go up today. And he said, and Sarah, and my son Ryan was next to me, said, you can go up if you want as well. So Sarah came up with me, and then as we were standing up there, waiting for everybody else to get situated, Ryan came up with us as well. So that was very special, and it went from, no I won't, no I won't, no I won't, to, okay I will, I'll go. And then it was just assumed that I would go, and I went. And I just had to share that with you. When I read this quote, sometimes what you're most afraid of doing is the very thing that will set you free. It resonated with me with that particular thing, because that was a small step, but a step in the right direction as far as I was concerned. And the fear is what you build up in your mind is worse than the actuality of the thing that you're afraid of doing. And once you do it, the fear is gone. So that was definitely a lesson that I learned, and was a step that I took into my Bible study that week. There was more that went into that, but not wanting this video to be, 3 hours long or whatever. I'm going to stop there, but I just thought I would share a personal story about what's been going on with me. And there are other areas of my life where I know that the fear is greater than the thing, the problem, whatever, what have you. And I need to break through those walls and, you know, do those things. And it is very freeing. So that is definitely going to be the quote that I'm going to use. And I think with black paint, I'm just going to write free. And you can, this little doinker there, I hold it, but it slips. I don't want it to go back through the paint. You can just snap it right off. I'm afraid if I don't keep it attached that this little lid will get lost. So that's why I don't get rid of it altogether. Yeah, so free. I really like the way that looks, so I think what I'll do is try to paint that on with some gesso. Whoa, that was a lot of gesso. Oh my. I'm just going to use a round brush. And here's my paper palette. There's my blob of paint, and I've dropped some water on there, and I'm just pulling a little bit of paint in at a time and kind of making it the consistency of like melted ice cream or something like that. And there goes my voice again doing that thing. Okay. And I just want to... I need a paper towel. Alright. I just want to... a little bit of it in there. Work on my shading skills. I do it wrong. Don't think about the light source, and then there's shadow and highlights on the wrong opposite sides, which would never happen in nature like that. Got to be conscious of it. And then I'm going to get my brush wet, dab off a little bit of the water, and then blend in some of the white, if I can. Rinse it. My paint is still pretty wet, so just rinse it off a little bit as I go. And once it's dry and I add some doodly lines and stuff and kind of outline it and identify where the leaves are, maybe even with a charcoal pencil, which look how little it is. It's got a little bit of mojo left. So I'm going to dry this, and then I'll be back to either charcoal it or pit pen, maybe. Anyways, I'll be back. Alright, I think everything is dry except for this word free. I know if I stuck my finger in that, the paint would be wet underneath, but it's got this nice little film coating over the top that hopefully will prevent me from scarring it too much if I'm not paying attention. So I'm going to try to use my charcoal here and see what I get with this first. The other idea is to use my Faber-Castell Pitt pen with India ink and kind of rub it off, but I would need to seal this first with some gesso, or not gesso, seal it with gesso, no. I would need to seal it with Mod Podge or something like that so it's makes it non-porous so that you can smear it, or else it's just a stark line, and I don't want a stark line. So, but first I'm going to see what we get with this. I almost did it again. I have a little puddle of the paint from the pen on my paper over there, on my palette. Instead of dipping it back into that, I dipped it into my blob of gesso. So when I was looking at these cards and whether or not to stick these on here, I tore off the piece of it, and I think I like the number. And I'm thinking about just tearing them off and sticking them on. Gotta glue it. And there we have it. Maybe I'll put it on there so you can't tell it's corn. And I think I'll just staple it. Don't want to stay down, so staple, staple, staple. Okay. Whoa. I think a little bit more here. What I want to do is take red paint and drip it on. This is just Naphthol Crimson paint, which comes in the Folk Art line, and water. Alright, I like these little blobbies. I don't like these big ones. Let me try taking them out. One down. I like it. I think it's pretty. And it's, I can't move that, but it's not dark. Like I feel like I keep drenching everything in black, and then, which is cool. It's kind of a grungy, neat feel to it, but this is a little more bright and happy. So, I think that's going to do it for me today, and I hope you like it. My quote is, sometimes what you're most afraid of doing is the very thing that will set you free. So, hopefully somebody can relate to that, and, you know, pick up a paintbrush, splatter some paint, play with your supplies, see what you can do. Enjoy your week, and I will see you next week.